Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are tonight, guys, ready to talk about A Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master from 1988. And at this point in the franchise, nothing in this world can stop Freddy Krueger on camera or behind camera in the merchandising or anything else. Coriander's with me and Killian, of course. Guys, this is going to be an interesting one as we continue our journey through the Nightmare series. Let's see who we have in the chat, and let's get ready to go on this thing, man. I think this is going to be really, really cool. Ginger Ninja, what's up, buddy? Saying, hey, are you ready to check in? What's going on, man? Good to see you. And reminding folks, don't forget to slash the like button and sharing your socials. Thank you so much for always reminding people, man, especially with sharing on social. That's a really great thing to help out. Jason, what's going on? Two boys in the chat. You can check in, but you can't check out. Right? Right. Russell's in the chat. What's going on? Good to see Russell. Thank you so much for smashing the like button, bro. Tiger Man, what's going on? And I love it. Kill, you see what the avatar is?
I love it. I love
Thundercats. Love it. Love it. Val is in the chat. What's going on, Val? Good to see you. Saying good evening, all. Thank you for being here, Val. We appreciate that. Let's see. I want to make sure I catch up with everyone here. Brandon's in the chat as well. Elm Street's last brats, farewell. Right?
Yeah.
I know, man. Strange Monkey, what's up? Saying gotta run, gotta hide. That's right, man. That's right. I really did love. Let me go, guys. Know what you think. I really do like that theme song that was sung by Tuesday Night herself, who played Kristen. I think it's a cool song. You know,
I didn't know that.
It's not on the level of Dream Warriors or Man Behind the Mask, but it's catchy. I like it.
It is catchy.
And Ginger Ninja taking care of business too. We got a poll up asking, is Nightmare 4 better than 3, better than the Dream Warriors? And he's saying that is a question, right? That's why I asked it. Coriander. Denisha's in the chat too. What's up, Denisha? Good to see you. All right. And Brandon saying, this is my second favorite behind the OG. All right.
Nice.
Very cool. Val reminding people to like, subscribe, share the video, and so forth. Thank you. Denisha saying, hey, Killian and Coriander, and hey, Night.
Hey.
Right. Jonathan's in the chat. What's going on? Saying, let's go. What up, everyone? Hit the like button. Thank you, guys. Seriously, thank all of you guys for reminding other folks to hit the like button. We really appreciate that. It really makes a big difference. Thank you. And Ginger Ninja keeping an eye on the poll, saying we're at 12 votes already. 33% saying yes, 67 saying no. All right. I was curious to see what this percentage was going to look like. I really, really was. Strange Monkey. You're all right, man. Every time I watch this, I crave pizza.
Nice.
Food.
Yeah, meatballs that squirt in your mouth. You gotta love it.
Rick, you little meatball. Okay, quick take time before we get going proper with the intro and everything. Kill, Nightmare on Elm Street 4, man, I don't know how you feel as far as when you think about when we were first introduced to this movie in that time period for us as kids, but it was a fun time, you know, just in general with horror, and this definitely helped to spearhead that movement. What's your quick take on Nightmare 4?
See, I'm torn, like especially like with the poll going on, and I think me and Coriander are of like mind on this. I still prefer Dream Warriors, but I gotta say this had some of the most inventive kills, and it still didn't hit that apex of going over the top for me. I mean, it's on the roller coaster, and you're hearing the ticks, tick, 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 but it didn't do the full nosedive where, you know, he's on a broomstick and it's Wizard of Oz, or he's playing a video game.
Right.
But I have other griefs with this movie, but we'll get into it. But it's a good one. It's a good one.
All right. James saying it's not better than Dream Warriors, but it's a good sequel. All right. All right.
Exactly.
How about you,
Yeah.
Coriander? What's your quick take on it?
I agree with what Killian said and what that person just mentioned. I like, Dream Warriors better, and I didn't mind this as a sequel. Like Killian said, Freddie wasn't over the top yet, and
Yeah.
he's still, he's not, well, for me, he's like not as scary as he
Mhm.
was, but it's still an enjoyable movie. So yeah.
Yeah. All right. Philip's in the chat too, saying, "Hey everyone, sorry I'm late. Hey, what's going on? What's going on?"
Welcome.
My quick take on it. Well, first of all, because as far as the poll thing and comparing it, I don't want to get into that too much because eventually we are going to rank these movies anyways. But I will say that this movie was Dream Warriors was the springboard, and this movie is a direct correlation of that. In other words, this movie took, elements of Dream Warriors and kind of magnified it. Now, there's a couple reasons why it did that. Number one, it's the fourth movie in the franchise, so you do have to do different things. You got to try to keep it fresh. You got to step outside the bounds and so forth. But to talk about some of the behind the scenes stuff a little bit real quick, they also had things going on with the script where it was kind of morphing as they were shooting. And so it definitely became a production where they knew they had to really be creative with the dreamscape and the nightmare sequences, which they were. Like, I will say that they were extremely successful on that level. And there were a lot of other cool things that happened as well that I think were very special in this movie to give it some credit. So yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that. But real quick too, we got Polar jumping into the chat. What's going on? Saying, "Hey guys, Freddy talk, right?" Yeah. Two boys saying Robert Englund's favorite scene from the franchise was in 4. Yes, yes,
Mhm.
yes. Sarah's in the chat. What's going on, Sarah? Good to see you.
Hello.
Good to see you. Okay. Well, guys, we're going to take a quick second to finish getting set up. Give folks another a few seconds to jump into the chat if they choose to do so. So for you guys in the chat, for you guys watching the replay, sit back, relax. It's time to figure out about the Dream Master. You know what time it is. There it is. There it is. Man, there was some good, there was some good nightmare sequences in this movie, man. Seriously. All right. So, Kill, let's start this thing off. You were obviously a huge fan of 3. I mean, everybody was growing up. This movie starts off. What's the vibe that you're getting right from the beginning of this movie?
Well, we have some previous actors and characters that returned from the last movie, and some that didn't. But
Mhm.
essentially, we have our 3 survivors from the last movie, and essentially, when I first saw this, see, you're always on point with the screenshots. There you
I
go.
tr- I try.
And I could, I remember when I, originally saw this, I was like, oh, great, we're gonna follow them again,
Mhm.
and they're gonna be kind of our new protagonists per se, or group of
Right.
protagonists. And unfortunately, that was not necessarily the case.
Right.
But and I hope I'm not getting ahead of myself. I still think that's a missed opportunity when you have 2 of the original actors reprising
Mhm.
their respected roles from the previous movie.
Right.
Um,
Right.
but yeah, like, when it first started, it was like seeing old friends, like, oh man, because the chemistry was so great with those characters, and to see them
Mhm.
all together, I just assumed, like, okay, this is already starting off really good.
Mhm.
But yeah, in typical fashion, like sort of like you said earlier, about Freddie, like, they just don't get it. He's not going anywhere.
Right.
Freddie's batting cleanup in this movie. He has a list and he's checking it twice,
Right?
and
Yeah,
he starts fast. I'm
Santa
sorry.
Kruger. he was picking them off. It's like he was eating jelly
right.
beans. It's no doubt at
Yeah,
all,
once
Pretty
he
man.
started,
much.
he didn't stop.
No, he didn't. He didn't. Uh Strange Monkey, best intro ever. Thanks, man. I appreciate that, bro. Lewis in the chat saying I finally made it live. All right. All right.
Hey,
James, and this is Robert's favorite performance as Freddy. Yeah.
yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, he was having fun, and he really, at first, this is the fourth movie, so he even Robert said he was trying to get himself going, and once he started to see some of the results of the filming, he started to realize, the type of energy that they were putting into this movie, kind of dubbed as the quote unquote MTV nightmare, and just the creativity, and he really got, re-energized at that point. Brandon's and Debbie's cockroach kill was the MVP. There is no doubt about that, man.
Yeah,
And,
that's a
and-
good
and
one.
we'll definitely get into that soon. But Coriander, what about you in the beginning of the movie? What's your thought process, and what did you think about Tuesday night? Replacing Patricia Arquette. A lot of that was, and there wasn't any definitive reasoning, and we saw it on the documentary too. But she just
Mm,
didn't return.
yeah. You know, for anybody who needs to replace someone who played the role previous and did a great job, that's going to be tough shoes to fill.
Hmm.
And I didn't mind her, you
Hmm.
know. Um, and yeah, it was great seeing Kincaid and uh who's the other one?
Joey.
Joey. And uh, like Killian said, it sucks that they had to, die so quick, but it makes complete sense because it's like he's like Killian said, he's on a mission.
Right, right.
And yeah, I thought it starts out great. It always starts out with a nightmare. And
Mhm.
yeah, she tried warning him he's coming, and they didn't listen. And it
Mhm.
was almost like the next day, people were dead. People started
Right.
dying. So it
Yeah,
was like,
because he did two of them in one night, right?
Yeah, he
in one
did.
day, yeah, yes,
Yeah.
in one night, yes, he certainly did.
Yeah.
Yes, and she
Joey
was
has a
like the
weakness
next
for the
day.
blondes.
Yep.
Yeah. That
I
kid
mean,
he
it's
just needs to lose his virginity, and I think he'd calm down a little bit.
all right. Well, so but yeah, they were getting picked off quick. I mean, there's no doubt about that. I mean, this movie, I guess what I'm trying to say is this movie like had a really fast pace. Like it didn't let up. Now, I will say when I was growing up, kind of like what you were saying too, Kill, I was little thrown off, number one, because it wasn't Patricia, and because Dream Warriors was such a special movie to me, that threw me off. But now being older and also understanding the behind the scenes of these things and so forth, I actually, and this might sound sacrilegious, but I think Tuesday Night had a really good performance as Kristen. Like she did, and this is no shade against Patricia. Part of it is just what the character is in these two movies, but I think that she did a lot as Kristen. There was a lot of emotion, there was a lot of drama, there was a lot of fear, and she really, I think she made a hell of a impression as this character that she had to step into the shoes of. What'd you think of that, Kill? Because there was a time when I would have said no, I'm more of a fan of Patricia's version of Kristen, but I gotta admit, man, I think Tuesday Night killed it with this character.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I agree because this Kristen is a little different than
Right.
what she was, in the the school for kids with issues in the last one and
Hmm.
so forth. And also it's kind of a weird kind of juggling act here because she's not in the movie that long, but
Right.
the time that she is in the movie, she really has to spearhead everything because she
y-
is essentially the protagonist
Right.
until the mantle gets subtly passed.
Right.
In a very interesting way. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I see what happened now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think Tuesday she did a great job, with big shoes to fill.
Yeah. And that's a good point. I'll throw to Coriander because you're right. The mantle definitely gets passed, like literally as she's getting killed, and she
Yes.
passes, her power and all that experience and so forth to Alice, played by fantastic Lisa Wilcox. And
Yeah.
I will say, and Coriander, let me know what you think. I think Alice's character, like she what an arc she had in this whole movie, starting off
Oh
just
yeah.
so so quiet and just kind of shy and so forth, and she had to
And muzzy
become
looking, you know. It's like I
and
get you're a shy girl, but it's like shower, wash your hair. You know?
Oh, she's having
Well, I'm just
nightmares.
saying.
Cut her some
Oh,
slack.
come on. You know, it's like
right.
I'm just saying.
Her dad is a jerk. Cut her
Yeah, her
some
dad is an
slack.
alcoholic and so forth. But what did you think of
Well,
what did you think of her character as far as getting that baton passed to and
yeah,
carrying the second half of the movie?
I thought it was good for her character because she showered up, she started looking good, and wearing, some nice clothes. And yeah,
What
she's
is going
starting to
on?
gain the confidence to, you know, take on this guy, this dream demon who's taking out her friend. And he's
Right?
using her. So,
Right. Yeah,
it sucks, because you feel bad for her.
right.
So, but her friend, Kristen, did it. She even said, I'm sorry because she brought her into her dream.
Right.
Freddie saw her, and it's like, yep, now I'm going to have you and all
Mhm.
your friends. So,
Right.
yeah.
Exactly. All right. Real quick too in the chat. Ed Harris in the chat. What's going on?
Hello.
Saying yo
Hey.
NWZ, Night Kill Coriander. What's going on, man? Good to see you. Good to see you.
Mhm.
Uh let's see. Russell was saying I was upset they replaced Patricia Arquette. Yeah, I think a lot of people that it kind of shook people. But the truth of it is Patricia Arquette decided to not return, and we talked about this like even in the first Nightmare movie, and we've talked about it before how some stars, they kind of move beyond their horror roots and some don't. Some pay homage and respect to where they started, like a Johnny Depp, like a Jamie Lee Curtis, actors like that. Patricia Arquette does not talk about Dream Warriors, and if she has, I haven't seen it. Maybe she has, but
It's
in
too
other words, it's
bad because it's not like it's a bad movie.
right, right.
Not at
But
all.
just
Some people
some
are just snobs. That's all I have to say.
well, and some people they just, who knows? Maybe she didn't like her performance in it. I don't know. But point being is she didn't return. So I think, the fact that they brought Tuesday Night in, I think she did a fantastic job. And obviously the baton was passed. Skull Crushers in the chat. What's going on? Good to see you. Good to see you. Brandon saying, it honestly didn't bother me that they replaced Patricia. Tuesday did a good job to me. I agree. I
Mm-hmm.
agree. Um, Ginger Ninja. Too funny. Denisha saying, yes, I know. We've been reaching some milestones. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. We appreciate it so much, Denisha. Thank you. But let's also talk about, some of the other characters because we get introduced to not only Alice, but her brother Rick, and obviously the other friends and so forth, like Debbie and so forth. Kill, do you think that this cast of characters, how do you think they stand up to the cast of characters we had in Nightmare 1, 2, and 3?
For me, this is one of the weak points of this movie, and
Okay.
it's not really fair because it's coming
Mm.
right after Dream Warriors.
Mhm. Mhm.
As far as the cast of actors and the characters, they're fine, but
Mhm.
it just seems like you don't really get to know them at all.
Right.
And what I'll say is with the Dream Warriors in the last movie, you got to see them do therapy sessions. You learn more about their past and the issues
Mhm.
that they had, their family life, their addictions.
Right,
These
right.
guys, you just learned like, okay, she's really good at trigonometry. She's not, but she's very athletic.
Mhm.
This person's that, so you learn basic stereotypes.
Right, right,
And
right.
the unfortunate thing about this cast is, unlike the Dream Warriors, where Heather helped prepare them and so forth,
Mhm.
they're thrown into these scenarios or nightmares, and some of them have no idea what's going on. Some of them,
Right.
like, oh, I was just in class and now I'm having an asthma attack and I'm dying. Like, what?
Mhm.
Wait, what? And it's like,
Right.
wow, like especially that one was really kind of messed up. Um,
Right.
so it was just kind of like they wanted to have that Dream Warriors style,
Mhm.
but yep, see, there's my girl, want to suck face. But they didn't prepare these other teens that were around Alice. You
Right.
know, so
Right.
bad on you, Alice. That's being a trash friend. You're not prepping them. You got to be the Professor
She
Xavier of
tried,
this.
guys. You got to remember she tried, but they didn't believe her.
Yeah,
Her
that's
I
true
brother
know,
was
too.
I
like, "You're
know.
just
Yeah.
crazy,"
Yeah.
you know.
Like
So she tried.
no one believed Kristen except for
Mm-hmm.
Alice. And then when Kristen got
Right.
killed, Alice was, talking about Freddie and everyone else was like, who? And then
Mm-hmm.
eventually they started to kind of come around right before Rick got killed. He said, well, look, if I go next, talking to Dan, if I go next, you better watch your back, buddy. And it's like, yeah, but yeah, I think because they had a lot of characters. You had the OG3, the Dream Warriors, so you had to settle their story, and you also had to introduce new characters and set up Alice. So I think there was a lot that they had to do for
Yeah.
a short movie. And also, with the script was constantly evolving as they were filming. Part of that was because of the writer's strike. So there was a lot of stuff going on in the background as well. They had a very tight schedule. They literally had the release date set before the movie was even, done filming. They were like, "Yep, we're coming out a year later or whatever from Dream Warriors." So there were a lot of moving parts. With that being said, it's absolutely amazing that this movie is as good as it is. You know what I mean? With all of those
Mm-hmm.
things kind of going against it. Um, but now let's get into some of the dream sequences as well. Coriander, let me start with you. Kincaid, first of all, and I love Kincaid as a character so much, and I think he's definitely um a fan favorite, and
Mm-hmm.
obviously being a part of the Dream Warriors, a big part of the Dream Warriors. That just kind of he's just got that legacy. And Ken Sagos, who plays Kincaid, he always jokes, and he's joked in documentaries where he told his friends, if you want to see me in this movie, don't buy any popcorn. You better hurry up and get to the theater because they're gonna kill me early. And it literally was within the first 20 minutes. Like all the Dream
Yeah.
Warriors are dead within the first, I
Yeah.
believe, 35 minutes of the movie. Um, and
Mm-hmm.
he was the first. What did you think of his dream sequence where they basically not only had him in the junkyard, but also that's where they revived Freddy with his dog, aptly named Jason, by the way.
Yeah.
Wink,
Piss and
wink.
flames.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. What
Damn.
did you
I
think? What did
mean,
you think of that nightmare sequence?
well, like I said, Kristen warned him, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, you'd think right when he was realized where he was
Mm-hmm.
and his dog pissing flames that this isn't good,
Right, right, right,
and once the ground sunk in and the dog
right,
took off and he just stood there, it's
right,
like, his dog even looked back at him? It's like
right,
I'd be
right, right,
following that dog, and maybe he would have lived just a little bit longer, at least
right.
another, 8 hours, 12 hours, who knows? But yeah, I mean, I always love, the dreams and how wacky they can get, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, some of them sometimes they're scary, and sometimes it's like, oh, like with the bug one, that one was like, wow, it's not scary, it's just kind of gross, and yeah, it was great effects.
Well,
But
speaking Well,
go ahead.
speaking of which, the fact that when he is being before he gets killed by Freddy and
Hmm.
he's, screaming, Freddy's back, and he's like yelling.
Yeah.
I'll never forget when I first saw that. I mean, literally showing that the whole friggin' planet is the junkyard. It was just some great visuals that they were doing with these nightmare sequences that were so
Hmm.
good, and they still look great today. This movie's from 1988. It's absolutely crazy, how good they were able to do these effects. Real quick, before I get to you, Kill, let me just jump to the chat here and catch up with these guys. Let's see. Let's see. Now, James is saying Tuesday's version of Kristen was very weak. She was very hesitant and scared. I totally disagree with that. I think that she was, if anything, she was more fierce. I think. What do you guys think? Because I mean, the character at this point has survived Dream Warriors. She knows that they're a team. She's trying to tell Joey and Kincaid, hey, he's back. We got to be ready. It's not over. And they were the ones just trying to shut her down. Do you guys think that her version was weaker or more timid than Patricia's?
No, I wouldn't say weaker or
Okay.
timid. Like I said earlier, her version had to be different. Her version had more freedom.
Right.
She's driving to high school. She's trying to live a normal life, has a boyfriend, etc. But no, I felt that she was a survivor,
Yeah.
and what comes with that. She's coping, she's dealing. So yeah, I wouldn't say weak or hesitant.
Yeah. What do you think, Coriander?
Um, you know, I, if anything, she's still coping with what she was dealing with, because even Joey and Kincaid were like, "Hey, you got to stop bringing us in your dreams. If
Mm,
anything, you're gonna stir him, and maybe she did. But I don't think she was weaker. No, I could see how she is like has PTSD. You know what I mean?
mm.
But yeah, I mean, I think she did pretty good for, like we all said, the shoes she had to fill. So
All right. Destin's in the chat. What's up, man? Good to see you from Destination Station. Saying this film got me an ass whooping when I was 5 after repeating what Kincaid said to Freddie. I like that. That's
I
good.
don't know.
Val putting in the link next Wednesday. Yes, we're going to be doing Nightmare 5, continuing
Yeah.
our journey, trying to stay out of dark territory.
Uh,
That's
Chuck
gonna
is
be
in the
hard.
next week will be okay. The following week is going to be
yes.
difficult, and I know Ginger Ninja is
Yeah.
waiting for us to talk about Freddy's dead. Ginger Ninja and Strange Monkey can't wait for that. I know it. What's up, Chuck? Derek's in the chat. What's up, Derek? Good to see you guys. Um, Derek saying I enjoyed this movie as one of the better sequels. Right, right. Um, so Kill, let's also go to a couple of the other scenes as well. I think Joey's was kind of par for the course. I don't think that one was as creative, but you're laughing.
But
It's
it
like,
suited
but
him. I mean,
no, it
come
did
on.
suit him. It did suit him. But I think the
Well,
thing that I liked about these nightmares in general is they really did deal with the person's fear or something that was part of them, like with Sheila's and the whole thing with asthma. That was a great like parallel. And I have
Mm.
asthma, so that was a great parallel to asthma. Freddie, just taking the life out of her. What did you think of that scene, Kill? Because I thought that was a really good kill.
yeah, I mean, once again, it's kind of one of the ones where I just felt like, man, this poor girl, she was just, getting straight A's, being a good student in
Right?
class, and got thrown into Alice's dream or nightmare,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, Freddy's like, oh, you have asthma. Well, then I'm just going to, I'm going to forcefully kiss you, and
Yep.
I'm going to kill you by sucking out all the oxygen in your body.
I
and
know.
and that
Yeah.
was for one, in the dream version, how she looks all hollowed out and
Yeah.
just drained, was visually impacting. And then of course in the real world you see her choking to death, which is just like, wow.
Yeah, she couldn't catch her
Yeah.
breath. She was having a deadly asthma attack, which
Yeah.
that's crazy stuff, man. Toy Newkirk, who played Sheila, she was talking about that at this point, that was the real glove with the real blades. And because it was a close-up scene that they had to use the real one. So she was really scared, and Robert really had to put the blade right underneath of her neck and so forth. So, just little things like that you don't really think of when you're watching it. And then when you hear about it, or if you read about it or whatever, it's kind of like, wow, man, that is freaking cool, man. Real quick too, let me just jump in, and we got a couple other people jumping in. By the way, if you guys haven't hit the like button, please do that. Ginger Ninja says Freddy's dead for the win. Bring on the power glove.
Oh,
No.
No.
right? Oh
John's in
my
the
God.
chat. John said, "What up, Zone? Made it to another live show. Hey, welcome,
Nice.
welcome. Glad to have
Hey.
you." Yeah. Brandon said these next 2 weeks going to be hard. They don't get better till New Nightmare, and I have issues with that one. Well, and there's a
I agree.
lot of truth to that. But I will say, I think next week we're gonna be hanging in there. Next week we're gonna be hanging in there. I was talking to Coriander, and she's gonna be hanging in there too. So, but Coriander, let's talk about Debbie's scene. I think it's obvious that I absolutely love this dream sequence. And actually, before I get to you on that, Coriander, Kill, you remember how when in the basement we used to have that bench, that weight bench? I kid you not, like even before I saw this movie, like sometimes, doing those presses, I used to think to myself, man, could my arms break if the weight's too heavy? Well, guess what? This movie showed that it could happen. Holy crap. And that was just the beginning. I think this sequence, honest to God, is one of the most creative nightmare
But
sequences in the whole
it's
franchise.
just kind of funny because like, how much weight is she really lifting?
But that's not the
Not that
point. Come
much.
on, man. Jeez.
Well, I'm just.
She's not Arnold Schwarzenegger. Come on, man.
I know,
Well, plus
but
it still is the downward force of that,
with Freddie
bar
cushion, I get it.
being
No, I get it.
pushing
But
her
I'm just
arms back.
saying, I'd be, a little more impressed if,
Oh, for the
they were
love.
heavier. And
What,
look
what
how
you
far apart his
what
arms are.
what did you
You know,
think
you
of the nightmare lady? Come on.
all right, no. It was good.
Lift more weight,
Oh
sis.
my
I
God.
know.
Get your reps.
She's like, Debbie, you're not cut out for this.
No. Stop. But
Just
anyway,
roll.
no, it was good. It was messy. You're seeing her transform into a half bug, and yeah, she gets squished and
Mhm.
goodbye. Yeah, she gets stuck in, like fly paper shit and yeah, man, ooey gooiness. You gotta love it.
I mean, how creative is this friggin' scene, man? Like when I
Well, it's
first
like
saw
The
this,
Fly, man. They're just,
yeah. And I
they're
will
doing a
say,
little homage to The Fly.
yes, and I will, and it's funny you say that because obviously, we're huge fans of The Fly, which had come out in 1986. And I will say, especially as she was transforming as like the arms came out and all that type of stuff, I thought it was some fantastic stuff, fantastic effects. What did you think, Kill? Because
Oh
we
yeah.
used to talk about this all the time as kids, man. This scene still messes me up.
Oh yeah. This scene
Oh
is
man.
rough, but the special effects are amazing.
Yes, yes. And I mean, credit to Robert once again, coming in for the win, hitting a home run. You can check in, but you can't check out. And man, he's like seriously,
Mm.
this is like peak Robert. You know what I mean? Like everything to me, like the moments and the quips, it was right in sync. It was like this
It
good
all worked.
balance. Yeah, it
Yeah,
all
it
worked.
all worked. It wasn't
Yes.
over the top and makes me just want to like blow my head off. So yeah.
Mhm, mhm. Absolutely, absolutely. Um, and Brandon said the same thing. Debbie's death was very Brundle fly. It was, man.
Hmm.
It was. James saying New Nightmare is the best sequel. All right. Jason saying the kills were all creative, especially Debbie's. Yeah, I totally agree. I think her death scene was just, like I said. I can't talk enough about it. I got to stop talking about it to be quite honest. But Kill, let's get to the finale. Um, Alice, every time one of her friends dies, she's taking on their essence, their soul, their powers, their personality too. And I think credit to Lisa Wilcox, who started to show that not only the way she talked, the way she moved, and as Coriander has mentioned, she took a shower, she's feeling good about herself and so forth, and that's
Right?
wonderful. But what did you think of how the finale went? Also, that scene in the theater, which I thought was very, very another creative nightmare scene where she actually got pulled into the screen of a movie and it was black and white, and then she's like seeing herself in the future, and then of course the soul food pizza.
uh, a lot of great visuals. She's looking at a black and white film, gets
Hmm.
sucked in, then she's in the diner, and of course, Freddie. Every chance Freddie can get it, like just
Look
look
at
in
him.
his face, just the
Yes.
face. He's like,
Yes.
hey.
Oh
every
my
goddamn
God.
chance he gets to be a creeper. He takes it,
He's a creeper.
and that's why Robert had so much fun doing this one,
Yes.
because this is the one I think in my opinion this is his most confident performance. You know, he
Yeah.
was really great in Dream Warriors, but this
Right.
one is just something like that next level rock star aspect that was going. There you go. Like I mean, like look at that. It's like
He
he's
looks so
opening for
fucking cool,
He's
doesn't
opening
he?
for Metallica right there. You know, it's
Right?
like
Right?
yeah, and he's feeling it, dude. Robert is feeling it, and he's like, yes, I'm gonna have fun with this. I'm rejuvenated. We've got
Pure
amazing
gangster.
skill kills in here, and yeah, like I mean, but to answer your question, you know that sequence at the end there with her into the movie and then in the diner, like it's straight comedy nightmare fuel because
Yeah.
it's funny but still it's scary,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
with his mannerisms, how close he's getting, like in her face, like just talking to her, like this nightmare demon is just like, hey, you know,
Yeah.
you know, just like, whoa, this is, you know, you're having too much fun trying to kill me. So
Right? I loved it when if the food don't kill you, the service will. And then he does that little laugh. And then, he's like, bring me more. And of course, Alice, her subconscious thinks about her friends, and that's before Debbie got turned into the roach. But it was just funny because, Robert, he's like, your shift's up, and like flicks her and wakes her. It's just it works.
yeah.
There's a balance in this movie. It fucking works, man. And real quick too, Destin came up with a great one. Freddy is a horrible spotter. That's so true, man. Don't lift weights around Freddy because he will not be doing the right job. Oh my god, too funny, too funny. Coriander, as we get to the end of this, the final confrontation with Alice. First of all, again, like Kill was saying, Robert was on a different level in this movie. The confidence, the swagger. Again, just look at the poses. He comes
Yeah.
into the church. Welcome to Wonderland, Alice. I think that was, again, it was a lot of good balance. Alice, as in Alice in Wonderland,
Yeah.
Alice as this hero that became a hero, and then this final confrontation where,
Hmm.
and it's funny because we poked fun. And for you guys that haven't seen our Friday 13th series, check it out because we did talk about Freddy versus Jason. And we had some fun when we were talking about the confrontation with Freddy and Jason, how we're doing kung fu and shit to each other and this and that. And it's funny because they obviously did a little bit of that here first in Dream
Yeah.
Master. She's trying to overcome him physically and she can't. So she uses basically the essence of God. What did you think about that confrontation for the finale and also that fantastic special effect of Freddy being ripped apart?
I mean, it suits her character.
Mm-hmm.
She was, all of her buddies are pretty much dead,
Right.
and she just barely saved the guy she's got her big crush on.
Right. Dan.
And
Yep.
yeah, and you know, and even Freddie was like, "Are you really the one to defeat me?" And
Mm-hmm.
she was like, she's pretty much stood up against him, and yeah, she kicked his ass, and you know, it's a bummer that all her brother, her friends, you know, he got their, I guess their souls, but she
Mm-hmm.
released them, and so in the end she saved them.
Yeah.
And you know yeah, with her, using the kids as, angels, and oh, the rhyme of, what was the rhyme?
I can't
Do you remember
remember,
the
but
name of it?
the face
Shit.
of evil, evil will die.
Right,
Yeah.
I can't remember what they called it. But yeah, and evil killed itself. So
Right.
yeah, how else are you gonna find ways to end a movie with a dream demon?
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't mind. I thought the ending was pretty good.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
yeah, I think it was pretty good too. And like they talked about with the behind the scenes, they were trying to think, a way to kill Freddy, with so many of the other horror icons and horror monsters of the past, there's an outside force that does them in, an explosion, a gun, those types of things. But with this one, it was from within that he was being ripped apart. Those souls were trying to escape and so forth. So they thought that would be a very creative way to show Freddy being defeated, which I do agree. It was, and it still looks. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that looks so cool, and I loved it. Like when the arm came out of his head, and he kept pulling forward, and it was just like pulling him back, and yeah, great scene, great effects, man.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Kill, what did you think about that ending? The way they defeated Freddy?
Oh, I loved it. I loved how really, it was Alice. It was her show. The location, the cinematography of like the old, church there. Very gothic looking. And just the sheer fact where Freddy's gloating about all the souls, like, oh, I'm gonna have more, yummy, this and that, but yet that was also his downfall with them, helping, escape. I thought it was really great, and just like Coriander was saying, the special effects on it, the arm coming out of the head, and them all latching to that, the wall behind him, kind of sealing them there, and so forth. It still looks good, and this is practical effects. I mean,
real deal.
Yeah. It's just you don't get craftsmanship like that anymore.
You don't.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
You don't. We were watching like how in the Never Sleep Again documentary, how when they did the souls and how they had the actors and actresses, pressing against it, and how the whole thing was built. His chest was a built, mini set, and at one point it even fell, because in other words, this is all real physical stuff, and it's really, really interesting. As we wind down here, Brandon was saying, Nightwatch Zone, did anyone notice that Rick, Kincaid, Joey was in the auditorium audience clapping during Alice's dream sequence in the theater? Yes. Yeah, it was creepy. Very creepy. Also, another thing too, and I wanted to get an image of it, but I didn't. When they were at the funeral at the cemetery, and they showed the headstones of some of the people that had passed away, and Nancy's grave was there as well. It said Nancy Thompson. And so forth and so forth. And when I saw that, and I don't know if I ever really like zeroed in on it, definitely not when I was a kid, but you saw Nancy's grave there and her father's, so it was like everybody was kind of right there, Joey and Kincaid and so forth. So yeah, again, in horror, you rarely get the heroes that survive for very long. You know what I mean? That's just how it is in horror. So, I think when I was younger, that was one thing that kind of got to me, because I was like, man, the Dream Warriors, they gotta, they gotta win again. And they didn't, but obviously being an adult now, I understand, a lot of it deals with the money, the script, the actors, like in the case with Patricia and so forth. But I do think that, passing the baton to Alice, there was a lot of creativity in that. And Lisa Wilcox, to be quite honest, other than Heather, I think Lisa Wilcox has definitely proven herself in this series as a very competent final girl. I think she absolutely nailed it as Alice in this movie. And obviously next week, we'll be talking about what she does in The Dream Child. Real quick, as we head on out here, Jason saying the final confrontation was intense. I didn't feel like the freeing of the souls was cheesy in any way. Great final girl, in my humble opinion. I agree. I think it was a great ending. Yeah. Two Boys saying, I have to revisit this movie this weekend. Absolutely. Revisit it. I think it's a great watch. And I'll be quite honest, man, like seriously, and I hadn't seen it in a couple of years, but I definitely enjoyed it a lot more than I remembered, and I think there were really some good things that they did better than Dream Warriors. I think Dream Warriors, the script, and the character development was better in Dream Warriors. But I think this movie definitely, had some fantastic imagination, creativity, and practical work. And I think, like you said, Kill, Robert was vibing. Freddy was in that different level. Listen, let me just say this. This is a reference. Coriander's probably going to be like, oh, no. Look, Robert was on a different level. You know what level he wasn't on? This is the level he wasn't on.
He can't fight me, I'm here.
Never forget.
I'm trying, but
The fact
for
that
some reason it keeps popping back, man.
Lisa was saying to Jesse, fight him, and Robert literally had to say that line. He can't fight me. I'm him. What the fuck is
Oh
going on?
God.
Anyways, no, but seriously, Freddie was to me, he was at his peak. Did you see the clip, Coriander? Did it play on your phone?
Unfortunately, it did.
Yeah. Michael's in the
Whatever,
chat.
dude.
What's up, Michael?
Oh my God.
And yes, James talking about this was the highest grossing Elm Street. This movie,
Yep.
one final thing I want to talk about, this was the highest grossing in the franchise at this time. And I think this really opened the door for all of horror. It brought it into the mainstream. It made Freddy an icon. And interestingly enough, there's two other movies, two of our other friends that had movies that came out the same year. It was the only year that the big three, each of them had a movie come out in the same year as Nightmare 4. We had Halloween 4 and we had Friday 7, I believe it was. Yeah, Friday 7. And so that was really cool
That's
too.
a great year of
It's a great
friggin'
year.
movies, man.
The Trinity
Shit.
represented. You know,
Right?
Freddy is like at his peak. You got Jason with a fantastic look, and Michael is back. Shucks, man. What are you talking about?
Oh,
That's my
shucks.
year. That's my year, man. All right. So Retro in the chat saying, I think part 4 is my favorite Nightmare. Dream Warriors right behind it. All right.
Okay.
Ginger Ninja's got probably the final results for our poll. 36 votes. 36% saying yes, 64% saying no, as far as whether or not Nightmare 4 is better than Dream Warriors. That's actually a lot closer than I thought it would be. I'm really impressed with that. I think there's a lot of great things in this movie. And Derek, you're right. Child's Play also came out in 88, and so did Phantasm 2 and also Hellraiser 2. 1988 was the shit. Okay.
What?
1988 was the shit for horror movies.
Some theater somewhere should have like an all-nighter of 88 movies that came out, the year 88, and all these awesome friggin' movies.
Wow, hey man, we might have to do like a marathon or something. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
You got me thinking now. Because seriously, guys, 1988 was a great year. And right now, here we are in the year 2023, and these icons are still relevant. And some of them are as popular as ever. I mean, just think about that. 1988, Michael, Jason, Freddy, Chucky, Pinhead, the Tall Man. That's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy. Two boys saying 1, 2, 1, 2, Night, we appreciate you. 3, 4, Coriander, we adore. 5, 6, Killian, always fun in the mix. Dude, I like that.
I like that.
That's all right.
Thank you, guys. That's cool.
Two boys and their scary pops coming through. And Brandon, you're right. The Blob in 88 too.
Oh,
yes.
Wow.
And we love The Blob. And there were other horror movies too. But definitely with these icons, the big icons. What a year. What a year.
Right.
All right, guys.
Crazy
That's
88.
about Yeah, it was a great year. It was a great year. So look, guys, we really appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Again, shout out to the Dream Master and all the cast and crew. Fantastic nightmare sequences. Alice coming through to catch the baton and held on strong, at least for this next movie coming up. Next Wednesday, we're going to be talking about Nightmare 5. Val put the link in the chat. It would be absolutely fantastic if you guys would click the link, give that video a like, get us started off on the right foot. It's up on the page right now for next week. We really, really have been enjoying going through the Nightmare franchise. We did it for Friday 13th, we did it for Halloween, and now we're finishing the Trinity, man. This is like very,
Doing
very
it
cool.
again.
We're doing it again, man. John saying, what a year to be alive. I know, man. For us that grew up around that
And it
time.
makes me jealous because you guys are like, yeah, we got to see this, and this, and like whatever, because I couldn't, so yeah.
Hey, well, and it's, we do have some people that come into the live chat or they'll leave comments, and they also got late starts on these movies, or maybe they were born after these movies and so forth. And
Mm.
the way I look at it, as long as you can connect to it at some point, that's a great thing. It's a great thing because
Yeah.
obviously we weren't around to see the excitement and the frantic energy when The Exorcist came,
Yeah.
or Psycho,
Right.
Texas Chainsaw, or even Halloween. We weren't able to experience that, but for these movies we were. So it's like it is what it is. But I'm just glad we
I
can.
was like
But
16, 15, 16 when my mom, she'd go out, play bingo. I'd
Mhm,
walk down the hill because there was a video store right down the hill from my house,
mhm.
rent a couple horror movies, and that's how I was able to sneak them in was when she wasn't around. So,
Nice.
yeah,
See, we were
it was,
lucky,
yeah.
man. Our parents, they were like,
Yeah,
"Hey, what do
that's
you
what I'm
guys want to
saying. It's like
watch?"
I'm jealous. This is
And w-
like,
and of
uh,
course, my
yeah,
brother had the hookup because whatever I watched, he was watching as well.
right.
Especially
I'm
when we
sure
were
though,
really
if
young.
Killian was a girl, that it would probably be different.
Maybe.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe. Good point. Good point. Ginger Ninja saying awesome stream. Thanks so much, man. We really appreciate you always being there with us
yeah,
and everyone else. Thank you so much. Yeah, we really do appreciate it. Two Boys reminded people also leave a comment. Yes, for you guys in the chat, leave us a comment. Let us know what you think about this movie, the comparisons it has to Dream Warriors and the rest of the franchise. What did you think of the different elements like Freddy, the nightmares, the characters, the emergence of Alice? Let us know what you guys think in the comment section. Again, don't forget to hit the like. It helps support us. Sarah's got the link for next week's episode, Nightmare 5. Please, please, please click that, hit the like. Jason saying 88 was indeed an awesome year. My sophomore year in college definitely was a
oh
good year.
wow,
It really, really
nice,
was a good year. Polar giving us some love. Thank you so much, Polar. We really appreciate you as well. And also Brandon saying I saw these movies in the late 90s. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
nice,
Some people did, watch these well after they were out, and that's okay,
yeah, yep,
Michael saying, I hope I don't miss Nightmare 5. We hope you don't miss it either. We'll be here next week at 8 o'clock
same
Eastern
time,
time. Yeah.
yep.
Let's see. And I think we're all set here, guys. Lewis saying, see y'all on the next one. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. We appreciate it. We appreciate it. Brandon saying, do a stream where we talk about horror memories. Man, we do so.
Yeah,
Usually it does turn into a lot of memory talk because again,
yeah.
horror for all three
I
of
mean,
us.
I could tell you real life horror stories, like seriously. So,
Oh, well, I
yeah,
believe it. I
yeah,
believe it. Yeah.
yeah.
Polar, polar,
Supernatural horror stories.
like real stuff.
Real, real
Okay. All
stuff.
right.
Yes.
All right. There you go. Polar saying, I have great memory about Gremlins. Yes, Gremlins is a classic. It was fun when
Right.
we did that watch party too. Jason saying, good evening, all. Much love to Night Corey and Achilles. Much love to the incredible moderators. Looking forward to revisiting Dream Child. Same thing here. And
Yeah.
also thank you
Yeah.
to the mods. You
Hmm.
guys rock. You guys, without you guys, we wouldn't be able to do what we do the way we do it. So, anyways, we will catch you guys next time. Have a great night. This was awesome. Freddy rules. We'll catch you guys later. If you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you're the Night Watch. Peace.
Peace.
Church.